Hi, it's now time for Chapter 4 of The Flapper Wife by Beatrice Burton. Early Thursday afternoon, Gloria was all dressed. She stood before the long mirror in her bedroom, trying to see herself with Stan Wayburn's eyes. Under the crown of her golden red hair, her face was very pale, and the cupid's bow of her mouth was rouged to the soft red of a geranium. Gloria had put on an afternoon dress she had bought on her honeymoon. It was a clinging thing, the color of new green leaves. Dick had told her that she looked like a wood nymph in it. The doorbell rang loudly. As she ran downstairs, Gloria laughed maliciously. She would give Stan Wayburn this glimpse of her in her beautiful house. She would let him see how her husband cherished her, like a jewel in its casket, and then she would send him away. She would be cold and distant. She would make him suffer as she had suffered when he had cast her aside like an old glove more than a year ago. Stanley Wayburn looked all around him as he came into the living room. His ice-blue eyes took in the long room with its cream walls, its Chinese rugs, its gay cushions and lamps. There was a tea table drawn up beside the fire. "So this is what little Russet has sold herself for," Stanley said. "For a saucer of cream and a cushion by the fire, like a kitten." "Sold myself? What do you mean?" Gloria asked. She was stirred by the word russet on Wayburn's lips. It was what he had called her long ago, when he had made love to her. "I mean that you don't love this husband of yours," Wayburn said. "You love me. You always have." Gloria dropped her eyes. "If you knew that," she said, "if you knew I loved you a year ago, why did you treat me as you did? You didn't even say goodbye when you went." As soon as she had said it, she wished she hadn't. This was not the way to keep Wayburn in his place. His voice went on. "Because I knew the sort of woman you were. I knew that this was the kind of life you wanted. I knew I couldn't afford to give you the things you wanted. The world is full of your sort of women, Gloria. They want everything. They take everything. And they give nothing. Nothing at all." Gloria laughed scornfully. "It seems to me I have a faint recollection of your saying you wouldn't marry anyone who didn't have a mint of money yourself," she cried. "That was where I learned my lesson of take all, give nothing, from you, and now you'd better go." Her voice was choked with fury. Tears of anger stood in her topaz eyes. To Wayburn, she had never seemed so lovely. "All right, I'll go," he said, coming across the yellow rug toward her chair. "But first, I'll take this, and this, and this." He kissed her violently, brutally. Gloria leaned back in his arms and hit him full in the face. Then he was gone. She rose from her chair and went into the sunroom to watch him go down the street. And the first thing she saw was Dick's gray roadster swinging into the drive. Gloria rushed upstairs. She tore off the green dress as she went. She slipped into a linen house frock. She was back in the living room by the time Dick had put his car in the garage. "Hello there," he said when he came in. "Who was the chic I saw leaving the house as I came up the street?" Gloria didn't answer at once. Suddenly, Dick seemed very dear. He was no love pirate spending his time trying to win the forbidden love of every woman he saw, but a good man who loved her with all his soul. Could she tell him a lie? Gloria rushed to him and hid her head against his breast. She kissed his necktie. "Who was the man I saw?" Dick asked again. His deep gray eyes were very serious. Gloria drew a long breath. "Oh, that was Mr. What's-his-name. The man I bought my lampshades from, that's who it was," she said. "He put the wrong kind of silk in them. I wanted them to be Georgette crepe. He used taffeta. What brings you home so early?" "You," Dick said. "I knew it was Maggie's day out, and I thought we'd go somewhere for supper. How would that suit you?" His eyes were thoughtful. Gloria wondered if he had believed the lie she had just told him about Wayburn. The lie lay heavily on her mind. Long after Dick had gone to sleep that night, she lay awake thinking about it. She had told thousands of little fibs in her 20 years, white lies, but this one had been different. She had told it because she was afraid and ashamed of the things she had done, of letting Stan Wayburn make love to her in Dick's house. It had been a despicable lie. Oh, well, perhaps all married women told them. That is, if they were going to have any fun and excitement. For towing the mark was very dull. There was May Seymour, for instance. A fine time May would have if she stayed home waiting for Dr. John to take her out. He was never home, day or night. The busiest doctor in town. What was wrong under the circumstances for May to go out driving or lunching with other men, with Jim Carew in particular? And suppose the gossips did talk about her. They were probably jealous of the good time she had. With this comforting thought, Gloria laid her bright head on the pillow and was asleep. At 10 the next morning, May telephoned. "If you aren't doing anything special today, let's go downtown and bat around," she said. "I gotta buy some new cream for the dear old face. I'm getting crow's feet. Fancy that sweet cookie at my age. Can you go with me?" Gloria said she could. An hour later, she and May were rolling downtown in May's little car. "Aren't you ever going to drive Dick's car?" May asked. "I guess not. He takes it every morning himself," Gloria answered. "Well, don't let him get away with that stuff. Just let him learn to use the streetcar right from the start. Or walk," May advised her. "Better still, make him buy you a little car of your own for bridge parties and luncheons," May went on, inspired. "You'll never get anything in this world if you don't ask for it. I've found that out." An hour later, they were sitting in their favorite restaurant. "I love to eat down here," May said. "When I'm at home for lunch, I never can eat a bite. It gives me the blues just to be there alone." Gloria wasn't listening. She was wondering if she could make Dick buy her a car. She was pretty sure she could. She felt sure that she could manage him, make him do anything she wanted to do, so long as she paid him in the coin of her kisses, kept his senses enthralled. She looked at May critically. May was coarsening. She wore too much rouge. May was smiling with narrowed eyes at someone across the restaurant. And in a minute or two, Gloria saw Jim Carew leave his table near the wall and cross the room towards them. Jim Carew was one of May's old flames. The town gossips said he was still in love with her. "Don't you girls want to go for a nice long drive this afternoon?" Jim asked, looking down at May. "Oh, Jim, don't ask the bride to go joyriding," May said in pretended horror. "Wait a year or so till she's bored to tears with home and husband. Confine your fascinations to an old married vamp like me." She broke off, following Gloria's terrified gaze across the room. A few tables away, Dick's mother was sitting in all her glory of black silk and sables. On her broad, florid face was a look of disgust as she surveyed them. Gloria swayed slowly to her